Yes, I know, it's weird having this endless loop of the thing inside OBS, but Magic the Gathering Online won't go directly into a game window. Blame them, not me. Hi! We're playing Caw-Blade. I didn't think that was gonna happen again. Caw-Blade was a standard deck in 2011. I think it's generally attributed to Brad Nelson based on Brian Kibler's Caw Go deck. It's a blue-white Drago control deck in theory, but it's got Squadron Hawk, which lets you tutor up your other three Squadron Hawks, meaning it's functionally a 2 mana 1/1 with draw 3 built in, which is nuts. Uh, and then that obviously wasn't nuts enough, so then we had to also have Stoneforge Mystic. And this was recently unbanned in Modern, was kind of a legacy all-star. I think the critical consensus is that it's real bad. Uh, I don't care. I love her anyway. It's automatically card advantage, sort of. We're not going to get into a huge detailed history of this deck. We're not going to get into the Pro Tour and Grand Prix that it swept and all the details of its ban. We are going to say this is not an optimal Caw-Blade list. The deck that made Caw-Blade successful had 4 copies of Day of Judgment. 4 copies of a board wipe is good against a broad standard format. But then it became increasingly insular, and everybody else at the top tables was also playing Caw-Blade, so they stopped playing cards that weren't good in the mirror and started playing Jace Beleren. Some of you may not know this, but the legend rule used to be that if one person had a legendary permanent or planeswalker, it was 2 different things, and then somebody else played a second one, the first one was destroyed. So, since your opponent is also playing Jace the Mind Sculptor, because of the weirdness of the legend rule in 2011, you would play Jace Beleren as a 3 mana kill spell for it. The legend rule doesn't work like that now. So, this is bad. Uh, Also, only 3 copies of Spell Pierce. I think people underrated this card severely. People thought that this deck was all about Stoneforge Mystic and Jace the Mind Sculptor. I would say Spell Pierce was as important as those for making it the tier 0 deck of its format. But we work with what we've got. Magic Online has a historical standard gauntlet right now that's allowing us to play old decks that haven't been legal for a long time. I have to assume a lot of people are going to be playing Caw-Blade, so maybe it's good that I don't have 4 Day of Judgments. But in the meantime, I'm gonna just bitch a little bit. I really wish that I could do the thing that you can do with like Dark Souls, um, where you can just show the relevant window, but I can't. So you get to see me tabbing around. It's deeply shameful. Magic Online is not popping off quite as hard as Arena, which is unfortunate because you can play better Magic on Magic Online. Standard is fine, I guess, but the real joy is in Legacy, and you'll never be able to do that in Magic Arena. But the drawback to an old client that is ugly is that sometimes you have to wait multiple minutes for a match. And we're going to wait in silence. I am obviously joking. I cannot be silent that long. So the general primer on this deck is our mana base is, pretty good for a standard mana base. We have 6 man lands in this build. We've got Celestial Colonnade, 5 mana, gives us a 4/4 flying vigilance. That's really good in the end game. That's still good enough for Modern in some contexts. We've got 2 Inkmoth Nexi. It takes equipment really well. It gives you a 1/1 with Infect, which means that the +2/+2 from your equipment is functionally +4/+4. Ideally, We want to play a turn 1 Preordain, which is not in this hand, and neither is a white source. So we cannot keep this. This, on the other hand, we don't have a turn 1 Preordain, but the ideal second turn is either a Squadron Hawk or Stoneforge Mystic. We have both! That's pretty nice. We'll keep this. We can bottom our third land. Seachrome Coast should probably... no, they're not going to play anything on turn 1. Glacial Fortress first, because we don't have a land that brings it in untapped. This is Fairies. River of Tears would only be in Fairies as far as I know. If they had Thought Seized me, I would have felt very silly about not Spell Piercing. Not holding it up with Seachrome Coast. There's a little debate. I think they have Thought Seize and hesitated last turn about possibly playing it. I'm going to lead with the Hawk. Why, yes, I would like to use the ability. That is why I played the card. I didn't actually look at the other decks, but yeah, it's obviously Fairies. It would have actually been nice to Spell Pierce that, but I'm not too concerned because if we get a Sword of Feast and Famine into play, then the point is sort of moot. Seachrome Coast first, so it comes in untapped. Get our point of damage where we can. It'll be very annoying to run our Sword of Feast and Famine into a Thoughtseize, but, you know, we have to take the chance. Hey, if they miss their third land drop, we can Spell Pierce it. Interesting. Ancestral Vision. That will eventually matter. Terror on that? No, that's a hard no. Spell Pierce is a fantastic card because it will often not work, but it forces the opponent to play much more slowly for fear that it could be coming. Anytime that you can dictate the opponent's play pattern, it's just hugely beneficial. And at this point, we've not only got the lead on life and board presence and cards, but now we get to play Jace the Mind Sculptor. When Jace the Mind Sculptor was unbanned, I think the general consensus was that it isn't very good because if you jam it on turn 4, it gets killed by a lightning bolt. I don't want to be too critical of everyone else's takes on Magic when I'm out here not winning any Pro Tours, but I will say, if you're playing Jace the Mind Sculptor with no ability to protect it, the problem may not be the card. The problem may be the person using it. They have 4 mana. That is Cryptic mana. It's also Mistbind Click mana. Oh, yeah, Mistbind Click mana. Okay, well that taps my lands. And annoys me. Those are the 2 things it does. It can also block the Hawk. Ugh. So I guess we have to give some token amount of consideration to what we're doing. We have the option of bouncing the Click, which allows a sword hit. Sword hits are very valuable. It untaps all those lands that they just tapped, but it does let them replay the Click. I'm at peace with that. They do not get their token back, of course. Yeah. Once a Sword of Feast and Famine gets rolling, it's very challenging to actually beat. I think we're... Day of Judgment seems pretty decent against the Bitter Blossom plan. As does Celestial Purge. Disenchant, it's... I don't like sideboarding for one card, but I'll bring in one more. Dismember doesn't seem incredible. I'm happy cutting one. What don't we love? I don't really love Into the Royal against so many flash creatures. If I cut both... Yeah, no, we cut Jace Beleren. Why did I even hesitate? You always cut Jace Beleren first because it's irrelevant with the modern legend rule. No. No. This is considerably better. A turn 1 Colonnade we're decently happy with, although I think the turn 1 Preordain is typically better. Yeah, I think in this specific instance, as much as I love Colonnade, we bottom it. Visions on 1, okay. It's not impossible to hardcast. It's worth not bottoming. This is fine. Although, again, I will feel very silly if I get thought seized. Yeah, see, remember the thing that I said would make me feel silly? That's this thing. Thoughtseize is always good against control because threats are generic but answers are specific. But it's particularly good against a deck that has a bunch of one-ofs, such as this one. You can't feel great about that, at least. That's my one consolation, is you have to want to take the Jace. But it's not valuable to take the Jace when I have 2 of them. I'll count that as a draw. It wasn't, but that's how I'll count it. Okay. It looks like they might have kept a very reactive hand. I mean, you can afford to take a reactive hand when you're going to get a sudden chunk of card draw later. I really don't want them to resolve that Ancestral Vision. So I guess I'll just pass with Mana Leak up. Oh, but they can pay for it. Ah, what a fool I am. Well, I'll counter this then. Y'all ain't come here to see somebody be good at Magic, okay? I know what this is. Nobody expected me not to blunder that. Yeah, I think I just run out the Jace. If it runs into a Mana Leak, then I just cry, you know? And that's Magic. I have not seen that card in so long that I had forgotten it existed. Oh well, I have another. I had another. Well, of course we leak that. I said, of course we leak that. Good God. I feel like we know how this game is going to go. A pattern is being established. Mm-hmm. Be real nice to have 4 copies of Day of Judgment in this deck right now. I can kill the Scion, saving myself a great deal of life. I think that's worth it in the long run. We should go ahead and do that while they have no cards to respond with. Okay. So we're going to 4 this turn unless they have another Lord? No, they're holding up the Pendelhaven for their blocker. Okay. Normally I would want to hold Squadron Hawks in hand for Jace, but we are pretty far behind on the board. Mm-hmm. 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 They're having to think very hard. I hoped that they were wondering whether they should Pendelhaven my Squadron Hawk. Okay. They have lethal, though. Just on board. Alright, I don't really think we want to change anything. Actually, Condemn is likely better than Dismember. I'm only worried about their creatures if they choose to attack with them, I think. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I would love to play first. Yeah. Yeah, we actually want the Stoneforge Mystic not in hand just to keep it safe from the Thoughtseize. Unfortunate that we would have to throw a Batterskull to keep the Stoneforge Mystic safe, but, you know, I think I'd rather have the sword in this matchup anyway. Oh, okay. Well, belay what I just said, actually we're going to end up with 2 equipment in hand, forcing them to either have double Thoughtseize or make a hard choice. What am I doing? I'm talking instead of thinking about Magic the Gathering. What a dummy I am. Conventional choice. Their hand is either very bad or very clever. Either they just missed a land drop and did nothing, or I'm making mistakes. No? Okay, just terror. That's fine. Not a big deal. Next turn we drop a Jace. Or... No, we can't counter Ancestral Vision with Mana Leak anyway, so... Jace. Run out of Rune Snag. Okay, we have another. I don't feel fantastic about our position, but it isn't awful. They do have a manland. They do have more cards than we have. We have a sword in play. It's still a game. Correction, 2 manlands. Okay. A Hawk would be a really good draw right now. In theory, yes, I could wait a turn to have Mana Leak for Rune Snag, but you don't beat control by assuming they have the things they're pretending to have. Yeah. Would have probably been wise to hide the Consecrated Sphinx on top of the library. They did just draw a bunch of cards. They might well have another Thoughtseize. So currently the Jace is dead on board to double Mutavaults and a Fairy. Even if I plus, I could condemn a Mutavault. That's fine. With a land, I can activate a Celestial Colonnade to block. I don't see any value to putting in a tapped Seachrome Coast. Glacial Fortress here. We don't have the mana to activate and equip, and I don't really want to run that into a Terror right now. I'm just trying to talk out to myself whether I ought to cast the Consecrated Sphinx into a possible Rune Snag. And the answer is yeah. Good odds it gets countered, but, you know, some odds it doesn't. And it informs my brainstorm choice or plus or whatever I might do, so I wanted to do it first. Okay. 2, 3. So they still can't sprite it. Yeah, okay. Feels good. I feel good about this current situation. Plus, to lock it up, leave that on top. At this point, if they resolve that Ancestral Vision, I could potentially draw 6 cards off it, and that's just too exciting not to want. I'm not here to win games, I'm here to draw lots of cards. A lot of elaborate calculation is taking place across the board. They just figured out one of the Clay Institute mathematics problems, and they're submitting their work right now, so it'll take them a minute to play this game. Kill spell on the upkeep. Click. Well, if you're going to let me counter your click, I'm going to counter your click. Okay. Equip. Now we play the tap land, because it'll untap in a moment. Let's just go ahead and see what they're working with. We're going to leave that basic land on top. And anything else we want to do before we attack? No? No? We want to swing? We want to swing. Yeah. That is fair. A Sword of Feast and Famine is very difficult to deal with. I don't like conceding before the game is actually over, but I respect the position they were in. Strong start. Caw-Blade's a good deck. Various is also a good deck, but I have an emotional attachment to this one. You might guess from the fact that my username on here is Esper Deathblade, which was a Caw-Blade descendant. Long ago, we had this beautiful card in Legacy called Deathrite Shaman. It was wonderful. It did no wrong until Grixis Control and Grixis Delver ruined it for everyone. My beloved Deathblade, banned for the sins of another. I can't complain too much, because it did convince me to sell those dual lands I had been holding on to for a decade. Back to my extended deck tech. We have some manlands in the form of Inkmoth Nexus and Celestial Colonnade. Interestingly, this list does not appear to have any fetches. I think it was pretty standard, in standard, to have maybe 2 to 4 fetch lands, even though you could only get basics with them, just as shuffle effects for Jace the Mind Sculptor. We're on the draw this time, getting the full workout. I don't love it. It's okay. I don't love that we neither have a tap land on turn 1 nor a preordain. And Disenchant is very hit or miss. Oh, we're up against Sly, probably? I don't think Disenchant is good in this matchup. Okay. I feel slightly better about the opening hand. We had a reason to waste turn 1. That is a vanilla 2/2 for 2? I see. Burn was considered one of the fundamental weaknesses of Caw-Blade at one time. But then after that, they printed Batterskull and Sword of War and Peace. So, We don't really want to discard. I don't see any value in discarding. So we'll just get one. I guess we could have discarded Disenchant. It's not as if they're going to Thoughtseize our Squadron Hawk. Vanilla 2/2 for 2, huh? In the same deck as the Vanilla 2/2 for 2. So we're taking 8. That happens. Ball Lightning is one of those classics that doesn't actually seem good in the formats where it's legal now, but when it comes across the table at you, you start to question that assessment. I'd like to keep Mana Leak up to avoid nasty surprises. You might be wondering, at what phase do we start activating Inkmoth Nexus? Late. In the early game, there will almost always be a better use of our mana. For example, Squadron Hawk is a better use of mana. Mana Leak is a better use of mana. Almost anything is better unless it is going to kill them. Yeah, I'll get in there for a point. Probably foolish against a burn-based deck, but it's what we did. I don't know whether we're really going to want to use Tectonic Edge in this league. You mostly want that against utility lands, and I don't know what decks are in this event. But I feel like not that many are going to have utility lands. Oh, Valakut, probably, right? I think I saw Valakut listed. Ah. That is a Magic the Gathering card. I'll counter it. I don't feel great about it, but I'm doing it. Was that bait for an incredibly good second spell? No. Okay. Always happy to see a Spell Pierce. Why, yes. Getting both. Yeah, in for one. You know, why not? You know what they say, the only life point that matters is the 19th one. Yeah. We pass with Spell Pierce and Mana Leak up, although we are entering the phase of the game when Spell Pierce becomes irrelevant. The typical variations on Caw-Blade in its heyday were a Jeskai version that basically just substituted lightning bolts for spell pierces, and an Esper version which basically substituted Inquisition of Kozilek for spell pierces. And both kind of saw that it's easy for spell pierce to just not be good, but okay, well, I guess we're going to be getting some use out of this disenchant. But both basically ignored the fact that the only reason they were good is because other decks were playing Spell Pierce. Well, I'll just go ahead and do it, man. I'll just go ahead and disenchant it. I'm using all my mana. You're gonna get one activation. Let's see what happens. You gonna activate it? Yeah. Oh, no, they're not going to. Oh, they still have mana to activate it. And now it's a guarantee. Cursed Scroll does not look good to new players. It was very good in 96 or whatever. An artifact that dealt damage every turn was just valuable back then. I'm at 4, okay? Let's just be clear on that fact. I may be joking around, but this is a legitimate deck. Okay, into the Royal. I'm comfortable with that. I think I may finally want to double block. I don't really love the thought of taking another 2 off this thing. And it's not like I really want to enter the Royal it, because I want to have counter magic up for their Incinerate. And it takes both of these counters for their Incinerate. I'm pretty comfortable throwing away 2 creatures for their 1, because the first one drew me 3 cards. It's still not card disadvantage, really. Oh, my goodness. Do I just want to tap out for that? Not literally, I would have 1 mana left, but I don't know, I don't want to go to 1. They're playing burn, they could have another shock. No, I should wait. I'll wait. This is a little bit touch and go, because if I get a Batterskull in play and get some hits, I win. This old-timey burn deck is very unlikely to beat an active Batterskull. But if I play it carelessly and they have multiple burn spells, I just lose the game. I'm likely to hit a land with this Jace. I can risk that. Well, it's not a blue land. This is fine. If they had a second burn spell, they would have used it by now, right? I'm gonna leave the blocker up because I don't know what kind of haste guys they could have. At this point, I really can't counter anything. Because they hate putting good hard counters in Standard. Hammer of Bogarden? Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is punishment for my hubris, right? I was making fun of this deck for having vanilla 2/2s for 2. And they, they showed me what a fool I was. Obviously Flash Freeze. Obviously not Dismember. Condemn just seems better than Dismember also. Jace Beleren is bad. It's not. It was fine before they unbanned Jace the Mind Sculptor in Modern. Purge. Want me a Purge. Conventional wisdom is Jace the Mind Sculptor is bad against Burn. In this one case, I do think I subscribe to it. Oh, Consecrated Sphinx is going to be terrible. A 6-drop against them? What do I replace that with? Day of Judgment? No, second Batterskull. See, what you want to do is you want to equip the second Batterskull to the first Germ, so that you got a 8/8 with Vigilance and Lifelink. And it's better, because the number's bigger. Yes, as a matter of fact, I would like to play first. Thank you. Ugh. Ugh. It's triple preordain. I'll keep it. Like a fool. One of those is a land, so it's staying on top. And the other is a Squadron Hawk. So, yeah, okay. They're both good. They're both... Yeah, I'm happy. Hawk Fanatic. Oh, man, that seems really good. Because you swing and you put 1 damage on the stack. And then once that 1 damage is on the stack, you sack it and deal 1 more damage. Right? There is one, like, 53-year-old person out there who thought that was a very funny joke. Unfortunately, they're not watching this. Hawk und Hawk. Yep. Favor is shining upon me tonight with these land draws. My wretched arrogance is not being paid appropriately. I don't love Spell Pierce against Shock, but it's fine. I said that, and then I didn't draw it this turn like a fool. Listen, it's been a while. Magic had been losing a touch of its spark, and then they told me I could play classic standard Caw-Blade. So here I am. Be better if I could have built my own Caw-Blade list. This is fine. They traded one of their cards for, like, -2 of my cards. I'll just leave that in play for now. I'd rather keep the Celestial Purge for a Ball Lightning or something. I don't really love them having 2, though. No, it's fine, it's fine. Why would I... You remember, like 14 seconds ago when I said I hadn't really been playing lately? Yeah, it's why I'm doing things like playing the land before the preordain. Oh well, I'll just keep up Spell Pierce and Celestial Purge. It's fine. It's so easy to forget that the same era of Standard that had vanilla 2/2s for 2 also had Wasteland. My favorite Wasteland is the one with the quote from T.S. Eliot's "The Wasteland, I will show you fear in a handful of dust." I love that one, but it's foil, and I don't play foils in Legacy, so I've never been able to use it. Okay. Thank you for giving me something to do with this Spell Pierce. How basic bitch of me would it be to say that The Wasteland is my favorite poem? Super basic bitch? 'Cause it is the thing. Okay, so Curse Ed Scroll permits them to do 3 damage every turn. I am going to play this Jace. Nothing will stop me. There is no power in heaven or earth that can prevent it. But I guess I'll plus to make it survive? Oh, God. The same era of Standard that gave us vanilla 2/2s for 2 had Pyroblast. I deserve to lose this. I mocked their vanilla 2/2s for 2, and it is right and proper that I should lose the game for it. This is just the fates coming down to torment me. I don't hate either of these cards, but I'm gonna bottom them both, 'cause I want to land. That's not a land. See, some people will suffer and they're like, why me? What did I do to deserve this? But I know. I remember. It was like 10 minutes ago. So I don't want to Squadron Hawk. Because yes, it could block, but I would lose the opportunity for a potential mana leak. And if I need desperately to block, then I could just into the Royal. Not that it matters, because I will die to this accursed scroll. I actually ran into Cursed Scroll in a Legacy tournament in Atlanta a few years ago. I was stunned. It was in a mono black control deck. They also had like Into the Abyss, Deathrite Shaman, Ensnaring Bridge. Good stuff, good stuff. See, like, I could bounce the Cursed Scroll, but they'll just replay it. They have 4 mana. They... I'll bounce it. Yeah, okay. I've been playing a bunch of Arena lately, and it has ruined my muscle memory. What? What? Well, yeah. I'll pierce it. They won't have the mana to activate the scroll as well. It's fine. They'll just, yeah. I deserve this. Yeah. See, yeah. This is like almost a mathematically assured victory. But not quite. You always give the opponent the opportunity to make a mistake. They might. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that is indeed lethal. Okay. So the first one was a hard-fought match that I won by skill and by the power of a beautiful deck. And the second one is I stood in a lightning storm and tried to spit at Zeus. And he was like, You wretched fool! It looks like this. Ha! There's a player named Spice Weasel. That's a Futurama reference. So as I was saying, we've got some manlands. 6 of them, in fact. And they're pretty handy as the game drags on and our mana builds up, and our cards to use the mana on can dry out a little bit. So, eventually you'll be grateful that you can pay 1, animate Inkmoth Nexus, pay 2, equip it with a Sword of Feast and Famine, swing, untap the Inkmoth Nexus, and the land you tapped to activate it, and the 2 lands you tapped to activate the Sword of Feast and Famine. Otherwise, our mana base, uninteresting, uneventful. I've figured out that if I just start talking about deck tech history stuff, it'll give me a match so I can't finish my thought. This is actually weird. Because Seachrome Coast doesn't turn on Glacial Fortress, forcing it to come in tapped. So I actually need to play the Glacial Fortress turn 1 and not get the Preordain. But it's got a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic or Squadron Hawk or Mana Leak. It's fine. What are we up against? That is new. That's something new. What's been powerful recently? 2 new for Omnath. No, it is Omnath. Omnath. I have no idea how that deck plays. I just heard people complain about it. Well, I'm going to guess that for a recent standard deck, I don't need to hold up Spell Pierce because the relevant things will be creatures. I was right! Creature! Well, you know, straight for the Batterskull, obviously. Listen, the glory of Batterskull is that you do not need to know what you're playing against or what it does. You just go, hey, it's turn 3 and I have a really good creature. Or you had a pretty good removal spell. Okay. That's fine. So, now... well, I guess I play out a Squadron Hawk. No, wait, actually Squadron Hawk is terrible. Oh, if only I had realized that before playing that land. Well, I'll just pass with Mana Leak and Spell Pierce up. It's funny that Lotus Cobra was just barely out of standard when this deck was created. There was actually an uproar when this card was printed for some of the newer players because Wizards of the Coast had said that Mythic Rares wouldn't just be chase cards. They would be, like, flavorfully and thematically important. And then Lotus Cobra had no lore behind it. It was just a chase card that immediately went to an incredibly, absurdly high price for 2010. That's unfortunate. Maybe I should... Yeah, I guess I should preordain first. No, I would like to hold up Spell Pierce. I don't actually know what this deck plays, but I feel like there have to be some non-creature spells. Why, yes. I can get both. There we go. Well, double Uro. That might be the worst balanced card since, like, Ancestral Recall. Maybe not the most powerful, but just the one that showed that its designers had the least idea of what an appropriate power level was. On the plus side, this is a standard deck, so they may not have great ways of dumping cards into the graveyard to escape it. What's the mana cost on that? 3? Okay. Well, sloppy. I'm playing sloppy. Comment your favorite of my many misplays. Yeah, I do want to hold up both Spell Pierce and Into the Royal. I am realizing that Spell Pierce will not be relevant. But, you know, it makes me feel better to have it. Wow. Three, huh? I will be honest with you, dear viewer. A certain amount of salt might be creeping into this content. Formerly wholesome though it may have been. It's just gonna seethe with hate for a bit. And I'm done. Okay. But I do get to cast a Batterskull. I don't think it's super likely they have a main deck way of removing the Batterskull immediately. Mm-hmm. And they are a ways off from actually getting one of those to stick. Well, no, not that far. Okay, that's fine. Yes, you're going to get a lot of mana. This is permitted. I don't know why I'm bluffing Force of Will. I'm just going to go ahead and hit 6 and skip through this turn. I don't think anybody thinks Force of Will was legal in Standard in 2011. Wow! That's a lot of mana. Top 5, any number of permanents onto the back. Oh my god! Feels like a lot's happening all of a sudden. Yeah, I'm okay. What am I doing at this point? So, land enters, 4 life, second time, get a bunch of mana, third time, burn. So, I do think I should cast the Stoneforge Mystic and get the Sword of Feast and Famine. And then I can just pass, leaving up all my reactive stuff, right? I don't want to swing it because I don't want to trade it with the... Or do I want to trade... I don't want to trade it with the Omnath. I would be more comfortable trading it with the Lotus Cobras, but I still don't love it, so... But if I swing and they block with both Lotus Cobras, I can bounce one, killing the other. I'll still have Mana Leak up. Mana Leak's not very good at this stage. I'll just give them a turn. If I didn't have the sword, I would be perfectly happy to trade it with some of their stuff just to slow them down. But I think if I resolve and equip the sword, I'm winning anyway. Cultivate, huh? Cultivate. Do I actually mana leak that just so that they would have to tap their mana to deal with it? Yes, actually, I do. That's what I do. And if they do, in fact, tap 3 lands, yeah, I just Spell Pierce it. Okay. I'm reasonably happy with how that turned out. Okay. Yeah, no, life is pretty good right now. Swords on a Batterskull are insane. It's the vigilance. Let's just shuffle, you know? Always yield. And that gives me the opportunity to use a kicked into the Royal to stop the Omnath from getting out of hand. Oh, God. Oh, God. How was that printed? Okay, well, that is really good. And now I think I want to bounce the Omnath. They will be able to recast it, though. Ah. Spell Pierce would be so good right now. Wow, that is a large number of things. That's so many abilities triggering all at the same time. I'm just... I'm just gonna kill the Omnath. I'm gonna just go ahead and handle that. Yeah. I probably should have... Okay. I was thinking I should have waited for them to crack that Evolving Wilds, but yeah, no. No. They missed it too, it's fine. Wow. Four white. Okay, what have they got in hand? Okay. Okay. So now each land gives them a guy or a team-wide pump. Whew. Including this one. And they're white, so they can block my guy. It just feels like a lot is happening. And they still have 1,000 cards in hand and infinity mana. Wilt. Oh, gross. That's probably game, right? That seems like game. Jesus, they're still using that mana for something, right? They're thinking super hard. What have they got? Okay. Well. Well. Let's see. I don't have quite the mana to activate the Celestial Colonnade and put the Batterskull on it. But next turn, I will have the mana to put the Batterskull on the Nexus, which would be lethal in 2. So... Oh, this one's Summoning Sickness, so I'll just tap it. Yeah. So I could swing and then equip. Just to get a little buffer of life. I would not be able to bounce it in response to another wilt. Oh well. This is fine. It's fine. What could go wrong? Oh, wait. Oh, God. They can cast... Oh. They can just cast another of those things. How was that printed? How did that make it through development? Double Villadar retreats. We have here a candidate for a deck more powerful than, like, Necropotence. Wow. This is kind of amazing to watch. This is like, have you ever been at the bottom of the ocean and watched a giant squid fighting a sperm whale? This is a little bit like watching that. Just like you're standing there, just slack-jawed with seawater pouring into your mouth. Like, what am I even seeing right now? Like, I've seen commander board states simpler than this. I feel like it's just very poor showmanship to sit here in silence while it happens. I'm just in awe. Blocks? Absolutely not. I want to see how big this number is. Whew. Well, a lot just happened. Obviously I want Flash Freeze. Celestial Purge seems less exciting. It really only hits the Omnath, right? Wow. Of course we cut Jace Beleren. We always cut Jace Beleren. Disenchant is just barely relevant, so we'll keep the one, but I don't think we want more. I'm still recovering, like, emotionally. I think maybe we should cut the Consecrated Sphinx? This seems like a game we have to win pretty fast. I don't know if a 6-drop is where we want to be. Yeah, I'm going to cut it. Let's see what happens. Wow. Things just kept happening. Well, I believe it is Brad Nelson who was attributed with the development of the Caw-Blade deck. It was Ben Stark who piloted it to its first Pro Tour victory in 2011 in Paris. His final match against, me just, I know the guy's name. Paul Rietzel, am I close? Was a stunning clash of champions. Okay. If I start talking, it'll bait them into finishing sideboarding. No, double mana leak is not enough. This is okay. Bottom one, Squadron Hawk. Obviously, we never need two. I am comfortable gambling that we don't need the turn 1 Spell Pierce and going for another white land. I want the plains. I don't really want the colonnade yet. Colonnades you want either turn 1 or like turn 6. All 3, if you please. Did that... It didn't take the third one. There we go. Cobra? Probably? No? Okay. I kind of feel like I want to hold up the Preordain. The Spell Pierce. They were clearly thinking about doing something. Yes, it would be great to have a Stoneforge Mystic in play, but maybe it would be better... Well, I just don't Preordain, right? I just Stoneforge Mystic and leave up Spell Pierce. No big deal. Why was I thinking so hard about it? It is well known that good players wait until after combat to cast their spells, but, dear viewer, I have never represented myself to be a good player. Chaotic neutral at best. Does that count as non-creature? It does. Interesting! Okay. Frankly, I just want the sword. They probably have artifact destruction that will remove it, but at least that will be out of the way when I get the 5th mana for Batterskull. At the moment, they have done nothing. I'm pretty happy with our position. Amnath? Amnath? No? Okay. It may not be black or green, but it still can't block the hawk. Probably could have been a Preordain, but I felt like having a second creature in play. That is is when it becomes targeted. 2 damage to the spell's control. Okay. Mystical Dispute? Okay. 2 of them pretty early. Uh-huh. So I just need to be advised they have Mystical Dispute up. It's 4. I'll take 4. Well, if you Mystical Dispute this, it is what it is. No? Okay. I would actually really like some counter magic. I'll bottom that. That's not counter magic at all. Dispute? No dispute. Okay. I'll live with it. Playing this out just because we're going to untap the lands. All right. Oh, all right. Game 3 it is. I think I'm still pretty happy with these cards. Yeah, I'll rock this again. Let's see what happens. No! Absolutely not. We are definitely not keeping 6 lands and a preordain. Weird. It's weird. I'll keep it, but it's weird. I'll bottom the sword. It's not good. Okay. Helps a lot. I feel better. I want to hold up Spell Pierce to protect Stoneforge Mystic from Stomp, so we will wait a turn. I feel vindicated. 3 mana was spent, and I was destroyed. No dispute either. Okay, I mean, fair enough. Oh, wait. Aha. That is a white spell. I don't cast a lot of those. Maybe I should be going for Inkmoth Nexus beats. I don't know. Okay. It feels risky to just cast the sword and go shields down with only a spell pierce, but I think it's necessary. I believe the waiting game is going to favor the deck with 7 mana spells. Well, I can't counter that. Okay. I kind of want to just kill it now, but I also kind of want to hold it for an Omnath. Nope, gonna kill it now. For 6 life. Let's see if this gets negated. Brutal. Disputed? Oh, and then I just clicked through the attack like a fool. I think their colors are wrong for Genesis Ultimatum. Okay. Maybe I just go on something of a beatdown plan? I should... Well, first I should refresh myself on the cost of Genesis Ultimatum and Into the Wilds. Genesis Ultimatum... Triple blue, so they actually have it. I think there's no way I'm stopping Into the Wilds, right? Into the Wilds... Is that not the card I was thinking of? That's not the card I was thinking of. Oh well. Then I'm not going to worry about that one. First... I will destroy a green source. Activate Inkmoth Nexus. If they wilt, I will look like the silliest goose. Okay. I wasn't prepared to look that silly. Or like a goose. What is that? 1 damage to any target, and it's exiled. Yeah, I mean, it happens. There are sillier geese than that. Right. I want my mana up, including the Spell Pierce and the Mana Leak. Sure. Can't counter cycling. Okay. And now it's an 8-turn clock. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is it? I still don't know what it is. That's a lot of abilities. Draw a card, put a creature from graveyard to the battlefield. Well, mana leaking it stops them from using any abilities now. Fine. Interesting. Interesting. Nothing? Okay. I think for a second they forgot Spell Pierce was non-creature. Happens to me too. That's probably game, right? I think that's game. Doesn't even die to dismember. You can put pluses on itself. Oof. Okay, well, let's see. I could activate Colonnade, swing in for 6, and then play a Squadron Hawk. So I will. Oh, but they can gain life. Oh, God. Well, I still have to try it, right? Okay. Okay. And I have none left, but I would like to shuffle. Because it makes me feel better. Feels like there are more choices, more options, more possibilities. There aren't, but it feels that way. Can't give itself trample, can it? Oh, all creatures gain trample and haste. Okay, so that's lethal. Yeah. Of course I block. We must maintain appearances, mustn't we? And ultimately, I was wrecked. I guess the main takeaway is play better than I did, because there were some definite sloppy errors in that. And also, power creep is tragic. Jesus, those cards shouldn't have been printed. But it was fun getting to play Caw-Blade for a bit, even if it's not a particularly good Caw-Blade build. And, I guess we'll call it there. I'll stop the recording and also stop playing. Bye-bye. Have a lovely week.